What's going on, guys? Welcome back into the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be going through some of my favorite passing plays within Madden 22, and this also extends back to pretty much every Madden that I can remember, because these similar plays have been in the game for a long time. They actually don't really adjust or revise playbooks all that much from Madden to Madden, and I've been waiting for them to touch up a lot of the playbooks in the game, but regardless, they still have some of the same plays, and actually most of the same plays within the playbooks from year to year to year for various different Maddens. And so in today's video, since a lot of people ask for gameplay help and play calling help and things of that nature, I'm going to give you some of my favorite passing plays that are going to get you better yardage and get your receivers open more often within the game. Now, the first play that I want to go over here today, this is a main staple of a lot of offenses in Madden, actually, and a lot of the playbooks that I run have this play, and it's going to be out of tight doubles. In this formation, we're going to go ahead and click in, and depending on which playbook you're in, it may be on the second page, third page, you might have to look around for it, but we're looking for the gun tight doubles flood. This play is extremely difficult for any defense to cover, and I'll show you guys why in the play art. The reasoning for this is that this is just a pretty well-designed play, and it helps to break coverages and really is difficult for any defense to cover. So you have the square receiver going on a vertical route that is going to clear out that side of the field and open up space for your number one receiver to be on that flag route or corner route, whatever you want to call that route that my triangle receiver is on here. He's attacking the sideline, and he's attacking underneath a blue zone, essentially within zone coverage, and that route is going to get open most of the time. That is going to be your lead play design right here. That's going to be the route that you're looking to break open as your primary read, because the routes coming across the field are going to take longer to develop, and very rarely is that square, that vertical route ever going to get open. But what will happen, especially if you have a very solid wide receiver that gets benefits from superstar abilities or has really good route running, what's going to happen a lot of the time is that player is going to break open to the outside, and you want to throw that as soon as you see that player first break from his route. Even in real football, you would be looking to throw this before the player breaks. So right here, kind of like right here, you want to start to look to throw this ball to the outside, and you can see how quickly I wind up as soon as he gets out of that break. Now, I throw this a little bit slower in next gen Madden 22 because the physics sometimes will have those players get caught together, and it'll have them run into each other, and you can see they almost hit each other right here. So from time to time they'll hit into each other, and your receiver running that route to the outside is going to get caught on a defender or your own receiver, and that can result in an interception. So you have to be a little bit careful and kind of wait for that receiver to clear all of that mess to make sure that they're going to have the opportunity to be open. And you can see how open Davante Adams gets on this play. He's actually being covered by a linebacker on this coverage because of the way that it works out, and that player's never going to get there. Now, I threw that ball a little bit poorly. I could certainly place this ball further upfield, and I might even have a shot at a touchdown on this play, but regardless, this is the main target for the flood play, and this is one of the most important plays to have in your repertoire, and anytime coaching suggestions gives it to you, make sure you try to pick it and attack a defense, or in addition to that, know where it's at in your playbook because it can be extremely effective. However, that's not all. You have two other great options on this play beyond just that first receiver. There's a lot of passing plays within Madden that essentially give you one possible target on that passing play because of the play design, whether multiple players are looking to clear something out or something of that nature. You don't really very often just naturally get a bunch of options on a single play without having to hot route and things of that nature. However, on this play, you're going to get a drag route from your number 2 or number 3 receiver over there, which is going to be more than likely your second option, which is a check down option, but also going to get you a significant amount of yardage if he's open. And then you're going to have the tight end on a very nice route coming across the middle, which is going to be good against user coverage. If a user covers that drag route, they're very often going to leave that tight end open. If it's a good user, they may cover the drag route for a couple of yards and then try to bait to jump back on the tight end, and that's going to leave your drag route wide open. Let's go ahead and take a look at this play run in full speed. You can see how the drag route gets open almost all the time coming across the field. It's going to be very difficult for any player to cover that unless they're in a true hard flat zone and see that coming in their direction. So on the replay right here, let's take a look at the receiver coming across on the drag route, and this is why you very often will get one or the other wide open, if not both of them. So the receiver is going to come across on the drag route and bring the linebacker with them. Now the linebacker may or may not follow them across the field. Regardless, that leaves this tight end open, breaking in with a very wide open pass right here. That safety is never going to be close enough to that tight end in order to make that play. So if you throw maybe a low pass or maybe just a really accurate pass as soon as that tight end breaks out of his route, or you just possession catch with this tight end, you're going to have a very successful time with this play. Now you have to be careful with this tight end. You don't want to throw this route too late because one of these other guys may break back, and the ball's out of my hand now at this point, so this guy's reacting, but this guy, for example, may break back and try to intercept that ball. So the timing of this you have to work on, and you have to get the timing down a little bit, precisely. This is a play that I run a lot, and so I've got the timing down for it. I recognize that that linebacker is now bailing, and I'm going to throw that to the drag route and take my free 5 to 10 yards. If he's able to cut upfield and has some speed, boom, easy first down on a drag route underneath. And if I want to earlier on in the play, I could throw that to Davante Adams and potentially hit him on a touchdown contending catch. So there are a lot of fantastic options out of this flood play. This has to be number one on my list. The next play on my list is going to be out of normal Y off. Now there are very similar plays to what I'm about to show you in a couple of different formations, but you want to remember normal Y off because that is going to be one of the more common formations that you'll see in your playbooks. And under normal Y off, you'll scroll down and you'll have the options for red zone scissors. So as you can see, the main target for this play is the running back. And the reason for this is that this play is very often going to result in a very large mismatch against a linebacker, or it could result in potentially a running back on a safety or something of that nature. This running back is going to get open a lot of the time on this route. It's not a difficult route for a running back to run. That running back doesn't have to have good route running at all. They don't have to even be a receiving type of a back. You could run this with any running back in the game, and if they have decent enough speed, they'll probably get wide open on this play a majority of the time. Let's go ahead and run it one time. Now they drop back into a zone, and this is the benefit of this play and why this play works so well. So you get to see on the very first attempt what the alternate option is on this play. So you get this halfback that essentially doubles down to clear out the defense. So you have this vertical route from your receiver on the outside, and he's going to come in, run a post or whatever he's running there, and that is going to clear out at least one defensive back. Now what's also going to happen here is if they do manage to drop back and cover the halfback on this route, which they do a pretty good job of right here, they're not going to cover the underneath route. The tight end is going to be wide open, and then your alternate route is you're going to have a receiver on an in coming across the field with a lot of space because of where these other defenders are and where the receivers are going to be. So you can have multiple very solid options on this play. It is relatively quick developing. You don't have to sit in the pocket for a long time, and one of the nice things about this play is you're going to very obviously and very clearly see who is open. This isn't a very hard play for you guys to read. This is a play that is extremely effective this year within Madden. Let's go ahead and run this one more time to see with the running back getting open. You guys can see right here that the running back comes out almost untouched and uncovered, actually completely untouched and uncovered. If you ever face man coverage against this, or you face a blitz against this, it's going to almost certainly be a huge play for your offense. This is nearly impossible to cover. So the linebacker does eventually drop off to try to cover, or that might even be a defensive lineman, drops off to try to to cover the tight end in the flat. Well, more often than not, teams are going to have somebody that picks up the tight end in the flat, and you can see how wide open the running back gets on these routes. This is one of my favorite passing plays this year. I try not to run it too much because it can be so cheesy with getting the running back open so often. Like I said, though, there are a couple variations of this play within multiple different playbooks, so you want to essentially be on the lookout for this route. This route by the running back is the route that you desire because he cuts upfield, he's going to draw a defender into him sometimes, and then he's going to split off like we saw Davante Adams in the last play, and he's going to be open to the sideline. And then the final thing I want to speak about on this play is you have last-ditch options on this play, and every receiver has a viable route on this play. They're not giving you any nonsense or any garbage. Valdez-Scantling, your circle wide receiver, could get open on that route up to the field goal post. That could be a route that breaks open for you depending on the defensive coverage. Likewise, with Davante Adams on the left side, that comeback route a lot of the time is going to be a very effective route. So you could run that play with the running back to the right side, draw the user coverage to that side, maybe you run that a couple times in a row, and then you'll end up with the comeback route open to the left side. This is a play that is extremely effective. It gives you very good routes to start with, and you pretty much have to audible nothing. You're going to always have a clean play to begin with. You may want to consider audibling your triangle, your slot receiver to a drag or a slant or something of that nature to give you a little bit more of a quick hitting route underneath if everything else is covered, but nonetheless, you're going to get one of the most effective plays possible without having to do really anything in terms of adjustments or much in terms of reading the defense. The next play here is going to be out of wing pair in the single back set. Now this is again another play that you can find out of various different single back sets, and I believe even some I formation sets. When you go to single back wing pair and we scroll down, we're going to get to tight end attack. This is a formation or a play that is going to be extremely effective, much like the plays that I've shown you before. Your primary option here is going to be your number one tight end, and the reason for this is that the wide receiver, the square wide receiver, is generally speaking going to draw the coverage of the players on that side of the field, and they're going to get open. However, you're going to have multiple effective options on this play once again, and they're very easy, honestly, to see and read, and you don't have to put in a lot of effort in order to determine who's going to be open on this play. As you can see on our very first passing attempt out of this formation, out of this play, our tight end gets wide open. Generally speaking, it's going to be a massive hole in whatever zone they're running. They could run a cover 2, a cover 3. I also like the matchup of a tight end on a linebacker. So unless they use or cover this, I also like man-on-man coverage out of this play because that tight end coming across the field is going to get open. Now, I do roll to the left a lot of the times out of this to try to draw this defender on the left side of the field up a bit. You don't have to do that. You can sit back in the pocket if you're good at doing a touch pass or a bullet pass and timing those things. This tight end's going to be open 9 times out of 10 for you on the tight end attack. But what happens if that tight end's not open? What are your other alternate options? Well, a lot of times, as you'll see with the defenders over here, you're going to get a one-on-one matchup with your best receiver, and I'll take that matchup occasionally. I'll toss up a jump ball to Davante Adams or whoever my number one receiver is. I'm not going to complain with a one-on-one matchup on the outside. If it ends up being a 2-on-1 matchup, that means something else is going to be open in this play. So with the tight end attack, what you get a lot of the time, actually every single time, is this tight end coming across the field, and a lot of the time you're going to get him drawing defenders with him. So if those linebackers didn't blitz, and I'll try to show this in a moment, they're going to go with him, and they're going to draw space away from this tight end on the right side, which is going to leave him open for a quick pass, or oftentimes he'll be open coming over the top of the defense. Now in this scenario, they did a pretty good job of covering these tight ends on the right side, but that's not to say you couldn't throw a pass, short to this tight end right here. I doubt that the safety is going to react to it, so I'm just just going to be honest with you guys, I ran this play like 20 times in a row, and no matter the random defense that they're calling, this tight end has been open every single time. Now, you can see a issue of this play that occasionally happens. They're occasionally going to stack up against this strong side of your formation, which is perfectly fine. You just have to be aware of the fact that your tight ends might get caught up right here, and that might set your routes back on your timing. However, as you can see here, my tight end, my number one tight end, broke open over the middle. It's very quick and easy to recognize that, and I'm able to throw that pass quickly. But nonetheless, I think you guys can see the effectiveness of this play when our number one option is pretty much open every single time we run or test run this play. It's going to be a big hitter. Now, the last thing that I want to comment on here is the running back option out of this play, and this is going to lead me directly into my next play that I'm going to show you guys. When I drop back into this pass play, my running back is going to leak out on an out route and be open almost every single time. It's going to be extremely difficult for any linebacker or even a user to cover this. With all of the options on this play, with the tight end needing to be covered, and if they cover that tight end, then you have to look for the other tight end. With all of those options, the running back is mostly going to be uncovered 9 times out of 10, and if you like utilizing your running back for dump-offs and short gains, certainly look for your running back as a check down on this play. You can see they actually did a pretty solid job of covering it this time. The tight end coming across the middle is covered almost the whole way through this play. Now he's about to break open and get into this open space right here. You can see the tight end has a hole in this zone, but that's a little bit long developing. So dump it off to your running back and get a nice easy 10 to 15 yard gain, and you can see why this play is so powerful. Now, the next play here is going to be run out of pretty much any trips formation. In the Packers playbook here, we are going out of pack trips, which is very similar, though, to any other trips formation within the game. And we're going to take a look real quick at 4 verticals. Now, this is a play that you guys might think is a little bit odd to have on this list, but ultimately what it boils down to is seams are open a lot of the time within the game, and you can also gain favorable matchups one-on-one out of a 4 verticals formation. And much like the last play, the running back is almost always going to be open on this play. I want to show you guys real quick throwing this one to the running back. It's going to be open pretty much every single play, especially when you play a CPU. If you play a user, they may do a decent job of covering it, especially if you run it too much, but more often than not, it's going to be very difficult to cover with any linebacker because your running back's going to have better speed and athleticism than that linebacker. The other massive advantage of this, as I kind of alluded to before, is that you can do a lot of things to get your number one receiver open out of a formation like this. So on the right side, you can see that my circle receiver and my R1 receiver are running verticals, which is going to clear out the defense and draw a lot of attention. One thing that you can do a lot of the times is you can put your wide receiver, your number one wide receiver, on an out route or something of that nature in order to try to get him open to the sidelines. Now, I missed the pass right there, but we can see how Davante Adams gets wide open because of the drawn off coverage by these 2 receivers on the outside. So they're going to take guys with them. You can see that that DB turns and runs with him, even though he should probably pick up this guy right here. You're going to see Davante Adams get wide open to the sideline, and that's a nice, easy reception. And guys, that'll do it for this video here today. I wanted to show you guys some of my favorite passing plays here within the game, within Madden 22, and also these plays are very similar in prior years. You can see how effective these plays are and how we're able to get our top options open on plays like this within the game. These don't take a lot of editing, they don't take a lot of hot routing, they don't take a lot of effort in order to get your offense moving with these plays, so you definitely want them to be a core contributor to your offense. I definitely recommend that you guys know where these are in your playbook or know how to get to them so that you guys can take advantage of what the CPU is giving you or what your opponent is giving you. Here's a great example of attacking the seam out of this 4 verticals play. It's extremely easy to run your offense with these few plays alone, mixing in other things from time to time. These should certainly be core options within your playbook, and you'll have a lot more success on offense if you weren't already running these. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like down below, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one, and I hope you have a good one.